Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. An important update: extreme levels of drought now across the Caribbean. I want to zoom down, and I'm always, of course, thinking about water needs as a whole, also thinking of agriculture and our farmers out there. I want to show you some of the vegetation issues, some of the growth issues that we're seeing. It's called the Vegetation Health Index. I want to dive into that, but I want to start with the drought right now. Here's a look at what we're seeing as far as those global drought conditions are concerned, and I want to take you around across the Caribbean. Let me set the stage. I know this is kind of blocky, but this gives us a feel of where the drought conditions are. Point being, where you're seeing the reds, we have some extreme droughts, and where you're seeing some of the oranges, close to extreme drought levels, high drought levels. So here's the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico here, Atlantic here. Now across the Eastern Caribbean, not as bad. We are dry. We are definitely dry in many spots, Antigua and Barbuda, back through, say, St. Kitts and Nevis, Martinique, Dominica. As we get toward Guyana and Suriname, we've had too much rain. You see the blues here? That's where we've had enough rain, or at least above average rainfall. Now, I want to swing into a few spots where we are dealing with the extreme drought. So let's start here, and I want to get into Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Haiti. All of us here, you see this red shading here, so we're dealing with extreme drought levels. We have some low rivers in spots, and this is everything. This is the groundwater. This is for planting in agriculture, and of course, just for you, to have drinking water. We've got some big issues here with the drought. Let me pan over and swing back toward Cuba, especially central and eastern Cuba, the red there, extreme drought levels. And then we get back toward Jamaica, and I'll show you the vegetation index in just a second. But you see this red we're dealing with here, and on the edge of yellow, so high to extreme drought levels across Jamaica. And then we swing back here in the Western Caribbean. Now, not as bad interior Nicaragua and Costa Rica, for example, but anywhere from Colombia, Panama, up through Costa Rica on the in Nicaragua on the Caribbean side, that's where we have higher levels of drought, but it is extreme again. Parts of Honduras, edging into eastern sections of Guatemala, watching my friends in Mexico, both Yucatan and Mexico proper, and then we get back through Belize. Very high levels of drought, especially from about Hopkins to the north. That includes anywhere from Belize City over toward Ladyville. Very high levels of drought. So we've been seeing this, and although it's not plotted on the map, the Cayman Islands, also some high levels of drought. Now let me do this, and I'm going to zoom down again. Hang with me. I want to switch this, and I want to get over to, let me take this off. I'm going to clear this. Those were the drought levels, so we've covered that for you. Let me get to this. I want to show you what we're dealing with, the Vegetation Health Index. So it ties into what we've been seeing with the drought numbers and with the potential for growth. So this is very important for our farmers there. Once again, the scale on this, where you see the blues and some of the reds, that's where we're dealing with the very poor conditions for not only growing, but also a loss of crops. So crops that have been growing, because we've entered into extreme drought levels, that means even things that were growing, we can lose it. So as we get into the Eastern Caribbean, we have generally a lot of greens. Now, Western Trinidad, that's where it is a little bit drier. So, and then as you get into Northern Venezuela, Guadeloupe, we have some of the dry conditions for us. But as I zoom back to, as we get toward the central portions of the Caribbean, and then getting back into the western portions, that's where it's a little drier. I mentioned some of the extreme drought levels in Puerto Rico. Now, it's not going to match up exactly because, again, the growth is a little bit different from the actual drought. We have some decent growing conditions in parts of Puerto Rico. It's kind of a mixed bag. San Juan, you get just inland. That's where it's been a little drier. But as you get toward Haiti in the Dominican Republic, and you could see these colors that are popping up here, more in the ways of the reds, horrible for growing, of course. Same thing throughout parts of Jamaica. Reds are dominant here. A little bit of green in spots. Some spots are okay. Again, you know how the weather could go across the Caribbean. It can be very localized, where you get some rain in some spots, and just around the corner, it's dry. But overall in Jamaica, the extreme drought levels, and this does include parts of the Cayman Islands, but much of Cuba, Bahamas, kind of that mixed bag. Same thing up through Florida. And then we swing back here, and I mentioned some spots spots on the Pacific side are a little bit better. You see more of the blues here, but the Caribbean side, so you get over toward Guatemala, Honduras, and then up through Belize, Yucatan, and Mexico, we're dealing with some of those not only extreme drought conditions, but poor growing and the potential for the loss of crops according to this Vegetation Health Index. And I'm going to be on top of this for you, but I do also want to flip over and get us to the forecast. That rain chance overall does stay low. Now, we are going to have some spotty showers and spots. This is this afternoon, but again, no big feature around. Of course, some extra cloud cover as we get back toward parts of northern South America, and watching my friends in Suriname, Guyana, Trinidad, and Tobago, passing shower chance. I'll get into some of those forecasts. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, I was talking about this a couple days ago. Rain chance is a little higher today, no washout, but again, a hit or miss shower. Same thing the next couple days. If you do get some rain, consider yourself on the lucky side. You see how we don't have a lot. Belize mainly dry, adding to those drought conditions. Jamaica, same thing. We could get 1 or 2 showers found with Kingston over toward Jacmel and then up through the Turks and Caicos and Bahamas. It just doesn't amount to a whole lot. And this is by Saturday. This pattern holds as we get into the upcoming weekend. Hit or miss shower, Dominica, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Montserrat, we could get 1 or 2. But you see how limited the rain chance is. And this really holds the next couple of days. Plenty of sunshine, small rain chance 20-30%, passing shower 30 degrees. So it is going to be, of course, on the hot side. Winds northeast at 24 kilometers an hour by Port of Spain. We swing back through Antigua and Barbuda. 28 degrees, that rain chance would be a passing variety, 20% chance. Wind staying out of the northeast at about 24 kilometers an hour. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, same thing. We've had a few showers nearby already today. So a hit or miss shower, spotty passing shower possibility, a little breezier. Those winds coming in out of the east. And Jamaica, I'll show you how dry it is as a whole. There'll be a shower or 2 in some spots. Otherwise, lots of sunshine, 89 degrees Fahrenheit, 31 degrees Celsius. So moving forward again, rain chance staying low, drought getting worse. The dust, I did check in on that. Yes, there's some dust in spots, but most of the big areas of dust holding off out into the central and eastern Atlantic. I'm always watching that and keeping an eye on those areas of seaweed. I've been watching your comments and also monitoring the earthquake. So lots to cover. Keeping an eye on the vegetation and the drought levels. As I get updates, I will pass those along to you, of course. Thank you for being part of this weather community. Have a good rest of your day.